What drives you in life? Is it your career, financial security? Maybe it's building the perfect family, a loving partner, children's laughter filling your home. We all chase different dreams, even twins can want completely different things. But imagine living in a place where your worth as a woman hinges on one thing alone: your ability to bear children. This isn't a story about conventional crime. This is about how deeply ingrained beliefs can strip away someone's humanity, reducing a woman to nothing more than a vessel. This is about Sarla Devi, a 42-year-old woman who was burned alive because she couldn't give her husband's family the one thing they demanded: an heir. Let's begin. September 17th, 2025, Tuesday afternoon. A group of men from Kakda village in Dig district, Rajasthan, India, are sprinting toward the nearest police station under co-police jurisdiction. Back in the village, women are rushing toward a house where thick black smoke billows into the sky around noon. But this isn't a house fire. According to the family inside, they're cremating their daughter-in-law who supposedly died in an accident. Outside, chaos erupts. Villagers and police demand entry, while family members, along with some sympathetic villagers, form a human barricade, screaming back, desperately protecting whatever's happening inside. Behind those walls, they are frantically building a makeshift cremation pyre using dried cow dung. Why the rush? Why not use a proper cremation facility? To understand that, we need to go back to where this tragedy began. The Singh family appeared picture perfect from the outside. Sukhbir Singh, the family patriarch, lived with his wife Rajwati and their 5 children: Ashok, Trilok, Raju, Pooja, and Poonam. Neighbors knew them as a warm, tight-knit family. Nothing seemed amiss. Then Ashok met Sarla Devi. Sarla was a sweet, gentle woman from the nearby Raunija village in the Nagar police station area. She had a beautiful smile and a kind word for everyone. Her father adored her. Her brother Vikrant cherished her. They wanted nothing but the best for their beloved daughter and sister. In 2005, when Sarla was in her 20s, she married Ashok Kumar. On the surface, it looked like a fairy tale. Her new family welcomed her with open arms. Her husband seemed loving and attentive. His siblings treated her with respect. Everything seemed perfect. But as the years passed, 1 year, then 2, then 5, then 10, without Sarla becoming pregnant, that perfect facade began to crack. And here's what you need to understand. Sarla wasn't infertile in the medical sense that we know for certain. The truth is, no one ever bothered to find out. Neither Sarla nor Ashok underwent proper medical examinations to determine why conception wasn't happening. In their world, such questions were never asked. The assumption was automatic and absolute. If a wife doesn't conceive, it's the wife's fault. And this is crucial to understand this case. Infertility can stem from either partner or both. It could be hormonal issues, structural problems, low sperm count, stress, lifestyle factors, underlying health conditions. Modern medicine recognizes that conception requires both partners to be fertile, and even then, timing and countless other factors play a role. Some couples conceive immediately, others take years. Some need medical intervention. Some never conceive naturally but could with treatment. But in Sarla's world, none of that mattered. In many rural communities, particularly in parts of Asia where patriarchal systems run deep, having children isn't just expected. It's seen as a woman's fundamental purpose. And the pressure is suffocating. If you can't conceive, you're labeled broken, cursed, useless. Your entire identity gets reduced to this one biological function. And the blame, it always falls on the woman. And there's the tragic case of a woman in North Shenxi, China, who jumped from a hospital window because her family refused to allow a cesarean section, insisting on natural birth despite doctors' warnings. Both mother and baby died from the fall. After birth, the judgment continues. In Indonesia, traditional practices pushed by elder family members, like feeding rice to newborns or aggressive infant massage, have led to preventable deaths. So in some places, personal opinions override medical advice, and lives are lost. For Sarla, the nightmare unfolded gradually, then suddenly. According to her brother Vikrant, those first few years were genuinely happy. The family loved her. Ashok was a good husband. But as year 3 became year 5, year 10, then year 15 without a pregnancy, the questions started. Then came suggestions for prayers and traditional remedies. Then came the accusations. By the time Sarla had been married for nearly 2 decades, the love had curdled into contempt. She became the family's scapegoat for their unfulfilled dreams of grandchildren, of continuing the family line, of having a boy to carry on the family name. The verbal abuse started first. Infertile, barren, failed woman, words designed to cut deep, to make her feel worthless. These weren't casual remarks. They were daily reminders that, in her in-laws' eyes, she had one job, and she was failing at it. Then came the physical abuse. Ashok, the man who once promised to love and protect her, began beating her. Not once, not occasionally, but regularly. And it wasn't just him. The entire family participated in this systematic degradation. His parents, Sukhbir Singh and Rajwati, his brothers, Trilok and Raju, even his sisters, Pooja and Poonam, all of them blamed her. All of them made her life a living hell. At first, when Vikrant called to check on his sister, Sarla hid the truth. She pretended everything was fine. And this is heartbreakingly common. Women in abusive situations often protect their abusers out of shame, fear, or misplaced loyalty. But eventually, she couldn't hold it in anymore. She broke down and revealed that Ashok had been physically abusing her, that the family she married into had turned against her. Vikrant and his family tried to intervene. They visited multiple times. And here's the pattern that emerges in so many abuse cases. Whenever Sarla's family showed up, Ashok would transform. He'd apologize profusely, promise to change, play the role of the reformed husband who'd made a terrible mistake. He'd be kind to Sarla in front of her family, making them believe he'd turned over a new leaf. But days after they left, the beatings resumed, the verbal abuse intensified, and now it wasn't just from Ashok. The entire household participated in tormenting her. So what changed? Why did harassment and abuse suddenly escalate to murder? The truth is, we may never know the exact trigger, but based on the pattern in cases like these, here's what likely happened. After 20 years of marriage, 2 full decades, the family's frustration had reached a boiling point. Sarla was now 42 years old, and in their minds, if she hadn't conceived by now, she never would. She'd become, in their twisted logic, a permanent disappointment, a living reminder of their unfulfilled expectations, a burden with no purpose. There might have been a specific incident that week. Perhaps another family member announced pregnancy, highlighting Sarla's failure. Perhaps someone made a cruel comment that sparked rage. Perhaps the family simply decided that after 20 years, enough was enough. In many honor-based violence cases, there's a calculated element. The family may have discussed among themselves how Sarla had no value anymore, how she was eating their food and giving nothing in return, how they could get rid of her, and Ashok could remarry someone who could give them grandchildren. This wasn't a crime of passion or a sudden act of rage. This was premeditated murder. They planned how to kill her. They chose their method. They prepared their cover story. And this was cold. This was very calculated and involved the entire family. In Hinduism, which the majority of Indians practice, cows are sacred. Even their dung is considered holy, a symbol of purity and spirituality. For centuries, cow dung has been used in religious rituals called yagnas, where dried cow dung cakes fuel sacred fires. The smoke is believed to purify the atmosphere and enhance spiritual vibrations. People burn cow dung in home prayers and celebrations. But Ashok's family found a different use for the sacred material. They weaponized it. They used it to burn Sarla alive. The cruel irony isn't lost here. A substance meant for purification and prayer became an instrument of torture and murder. Tuesday afternoon, around 12 p.m., the family put their plan into action. They gathered cow dung cakes and constructed a pit near their home, in or near a small storage structure called a bithora. Then they dragged Sarla to it. Whether they tied her down or simply overpowered her, we don't know. But what we do know is horrifying. So if you try to imagine it, the woman they once claimed to love, once welcomed into their family, was being consumed by flames. Her skin reddened, blisters erupted across her body. The smell of burning flesh mixed with cow dung smoke. She struggled, she screamed, then she stopped, realizing there was no escape, no one coming to save her. And her family, Ashok, Sukhbir Singh, Rajwati, Trilok, Raju, Pooja, and Poonam, they just stood there, watching. Those teary, desperate eyes slowly disappearing into the smoke and flames. They didn't help her. They were the ones who put her there. All of them. Every single family member named in the FIR participated in or witnessed this murder. But here's where their plans started to fall apart. The fire didn't completely consume her body. Despite the flames and smoke, only half of Sarla burned to ash. The rest remained, horribly injured but intact, evidence of their crime. The family realized they had to finish this cremation, and quickly. When neighbors noticed the massive plume of smoke rising around noon, they came knocking. The family had their story ready. Sarla died in a house fire, an accident. They were just performing the cremation. But the neighbors weren't buying it. The story had holes. Why cremate at home instead of a proper facility? Why the rush? Why were they being so defensive? Someone contacted the police and Sarla's family. Now it became a race against time. Police from Ko Police Station, under the direction of Station Officer Mahendra Sharma and Superintendent Om Prakash Meena, were coming. But Ashok's family heard about the tip-off too. They worked frantically to complete the cremation before anyone could stop them, trying to destroy the evidence of their crime. Outside, the scene devolved into pandemonium. Men ran for the police, women wept, fearing the worst. And here's where things get even more disturbing. Some villagers actually sided with the family, whether out of loyalty, fear, or shared beliefs about worthless, childless women. Several villagers joined the family in blocking police entry. The scene turned violent. When police tried to intervene and stop the cremation, they were attacked, not just by family members, but by villagers too. Officers had their uniforms torn. They were scratched and beaten. Everything to protect what was happening inside, where the women of the family desperately tried to keep the fire burning to destroy Sarla's body completely. One officer managed to slip away and call for backup. When reinforcements arrived under Superintendent Om Prakash Meena, they finally overpowered the crowd, blocking the entrance. Inside, they found Sarla's half-burned body. They immediately transported her to Deeg Hospital, where a medical board would conduct the post-mortem examination. When Vikrant received the call, his world collapsed. He rushed to Deeg Hospital, but by the time he arrived, the police had already taken possession of his sister's body. Learning the circumstances from the police, he immediately knew this was murder. Vikrant spoke out about his sister's suffering. He explained how the family's love turned to cruelty when the promised heir never arrived. How Sarla endured constant verbal harassment, calling her infertile and failed woman. How she suffered frequent beatings, so severe that he and his family had to come to the village to intervene multiple times. And there's this pervasive cultural belief that once a woman marries, she belongs to her husband's family. Although Sarla's family didn't subscribe to this view, they also couldn't monitor her constantly. They had their own lives in Raunija village. When they did visit, Ashok would put on a performance, apologizing, promising to change, playing the reformed husband. An investigation launched immediately under Ko police station. Police questioned villagers, collected testimony, and documented the crime scene. Formal cases were registered for murder, destruction of evidence for attempting the home cremation, and assault on government officials. When police searched Ashok's house, it was empty. Ashok, his parents, Sukhbir Singh, and Rajwati, his brothers Trilok and Raju, his sisters Pooja and Poonam, all gone. They had fled the moment the police overpowered the guards and evacuated Sarla's body. They knew what they'd done. They knew it was murder. And they ran. Sarla's body was returned to her family after the medical board completed the post-mortem at Deeg Hospital. She finally received the dignity in death that was stolen from her in life. Her family cremated her properly with the love and respect she deserved. Meanwhile, the 7 accused remain at large. Despite ongoing investigations led by Superintendent Om Prakash Meena and the formal FIR filed by Vikran naming all perpetrators, no arrests have been made. As of today, this case has no solution, no arrest so far, no justice for Sarla Devi. And let's be absolutely clear about what happened here. Sarla Devi was murdered for something that might not have even been her fault, if we can even use that word. She may not have been infertile at all. Ashok could have been infertile. They both could have had treatable conditions. The stress of constant abuse alone could have prevented conception. We will never know because no one ever checked. No one cared to find out the truth. What we do know is that after 20 years of marriage, a 42-year-old woman was deemed worthless by the people who promised to cherish her. She was tortured, burned alive, and nearly erased, literally turned to ash because she couldn't produce a child. This brutal case exposes the deep-rooted patriarchal beliefs and harmful prejudices that countless women face, particularly around fertility. The family's violent attempt to destroy evidence, literally burning Sarla's body before anyone could intervene, reveals a chilling willingness to obstruct justice through intimidation and fear. And the fact that some villagers help them shows how normalized this violence against women has become. Those who believe in equality and human dignity keep pushing society toward empathy, dialogue, and legal accountability. But changing mindsets that have been ingrained for generations, that is not an overnight process. It feels almost impossible sometimes. A woman's worth isn't determined by her ability to have children. Childlessness, whether by choice or circumstance, doesn't make someone less valuable. And abuse is never justified, regardless of the reason. This was the story of Sarla Devi, a 42-year-old woman whose only crime was being unable to conceive after 20 years of marriage. Her punishment was being burned alive by her husband and his family. 7 people who promised to love and protect her. 7 people who are still free. But this is also the story of countless women who are told their worth is measured in children. Women who are blamed for biology they cannot control. And somewhere right now, another woman is being told she's worthless because her body won't cooperate with someone else's dreams. That is the real horror of this case. Not just that it happened, but that it keeps happening. That is all for today. Thanks for watching.